Happening now, All-Star EMS may once again provide ambulance service in Jamestown, plus why Maple Grove School is now moving to remote learning.
Well, it's another cloudy day out there and a few more rain showers to go through. Plus, could we see the first snowfall of the season later this week? I'll tell you about it next. The News at Noon starts right now.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
And thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. The Jamestown City Council approved a service agreement with All-Star EMS during their voting session last night. The 4-year agreement is subject to the approval of the municipality's Corporation Council. All-Star, according to the agreement, would maintain 2 ambulances in Jamestown 24/7, as well as give the Jamestown Fire Department access to their training center, billing services, and more. Now, in times of high demand, if All-Star's dedicated ambulances are unavailable to respond to calls, the city, through the Jamestown Fire Department, would back them up as needed with their ambulance. All-Star EMS previously ended its mutual response call agreement with the city of Jamestown in January of this year. The Jamestown Fire Department's only ambulance then became the sole responder within city limits. Well, Maple Grove Middle and High School have been moved to remote learning after another person connected to the district tested positive for COVID-19. Bemis Point Central School Superintendent Joseph Rada announced the news to parents in an email last night. Rada says virtual instruction will last through Friday, November 6th because of a staffing issue and not necessarily an outbreak of the virus at the facility. Now, on Sunday, the superintendent announced that the district's elementary school transitioned to remote learning because of a similar staffing issue at that school. Meanwhile, 6 new cases of COVID-19 were reported yesterday in Chautauqua County, with 25 total from over the weekend. The county health department says there are now 111 active cases, that number down 17 from Friday. Well, it's official. After one of the quickest nomination proceedings in modern times, the Senate voted to confirm Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court last night. The 52-48 vote fell largely among party lines. Senator Susan Collins of Maine was the only GOP senator to rank and vote with the Democrats. Daryl Forges has more from Washington for us.
The nomination of Amy Coney Barrett of Indiana to be an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States is confirmed.
Judge Amy Coney Barrett joining the highest court in the land.
It is the job of a judge to resist her policy preferences.
The contentious appointment comes amid vocal protests on the steps of the Supreme Court, both for
confirm Amy now
and against her confirmation. The Senate's fast-tracking of Barrett's confirmation solidifies a 6-3 conservative majority. In response, some opponents suggested expanding the size of the Supreme Court.
I don't want to pack the court. I don't want to change the number. I don't want to have to do that. But if all of this rule breaking is taking place, what does the majority expect?
Barrett joins the Supreme Court as the justices are ready to take action on a number of important petitions, including several related to next week's election. The potential conflict of interest is a major concern for Democrats.
In Donald Trump, we have a president who has openly stated that he needs Judge Barrett on the Supreme Court to cast a crucial vote if cases arising out of a disputed election reach the court.
In defense, Republicans point to her qualifications and her integrity.
She is a staggering academic mind. She is incredibly honest and forthright.
In Washington, I'm Daryl Forges.
All right, Daryl, thank you. President Trump did not waste any time with swearing in the new judge. He was joined by wife Melania Barrett and her husband and Justice Clarence Thomas during a ceremony at the White House last night. Well, Jamestown City's council unanimously accepted the donation of a park bench for Veterans Memorial Park by the friends and family of Dave Wolfong in honor of Lance Corporal Jeremy Bruce, while extending the city's thanks for that donation. Bruce, a U.S. Marine and 2002 high school graduate of JHS, passed away last year at the age of 35 after a fierce bout with cancer. Jamestown City Councilman at Large Jeff Russell offered brief comments during the vote. He says that he knew Bruce and his family, and he should be recognized for his service.
I knew Jeremy personally, and his brother Jason, who was also a United States Marine. And I know Jeremy hated attention, and he hated being called a hero, but Jeremy truly was. And I know he probably wouldn't like the attention that he's getting now, but Jeremy, too bad you're getting it.
Council President Tony Dole says that Bruce, a former student of his, was a fine young man. And certainly our condolences continue to go out to his friends and family. And I look forward to seeing that park bench named in his honor. We thank you for joining us here for WNY News Now, as we get a check of all the local news that matters to you. Let's get a check of the comments and see what everyone's saying. Good to see Amber, Monica, Liz, Hillary, Rick, Pamela, Pam, Gary, Sandy, and Joseph. Happy Tuesday to all of you. Thanks so much for joining us today. Let us know what you're thinking about these stories and more in the comments section down below. We appreciate you so much being here. Well, now let's get a check of our First Defense weather forecast. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter is standing by with that in the First Defense Weather Center. And today, Dakota, the day seems like it's almost trying to fight to get a little bit of sunshine out there.
Yes, and it's going to be another one of these days where the sun and clouds are going to be battling throughout the day, but the clouds really are going to win it out again. Happy Tuesday, too, by the way. Here's a live look coming from the Seneca Allegheny Casino in Salamanca. You can see the clouds overhead. 46 is the current temperature with a dew point of 39. So temperatures today are still below average to where they should be. Look at the ice storm that is occurring out here in parts of Oklahoma and Kansas. And again, this is actually, we're going to talk about this a little bit later on. This is a piece of the forecast later in the week. But if you look to the northeast, you can see just lots of clouds around. And we do have a few showers coming in off Lake Michigan, and this is ultimately going to be the day today. Just clouds, a few showers around, so yeah, don't expect a lot of sunshine today. 46 was the high yesterday. 40 is where we started the day this morning. 78 and 18 are the record highs and lows set at the Jamestown airport. So through the afternoon today, scattered showers, cloudy breaks at times. It stays cooler and rather crisp throughout much of the day. 42 on the highest hills, 51 at the Lake Erie shoreline with a south wind averaging 5 to 10 miles per hour. And also, don't forget, we have storm spotter training coming up this Thursday at 7 o'clock. It is online from the Weather Service in Buffalo. We need more storm spotters. Now, this session is not talking about severe storms and tornadoes. It's going to be talking about winter storms, lake effect snow, and how to measure properly. So we need more spotters. We encourage you to sign up for this. It's free. And to register, you can go to weather.gov/BUF/Skywarn. And speaking of the snow, we could have some snow coming up later in the week. I'll tell you about it in the full 7-day forecast in just a couple of minutes.
Well, Republicans are projected to win big here locally on election night if WNY News Now's poll results become reality. For president and vice president, Republican and conservative candidates Donald Trump and Mike Pence won 68% of the vote during WNY News Now's election poll over the last week. They won over Democrat working families candidates Joe Biden and Kamala Harris with 26% of the vote. Meanwhile, third-party Libertarian candidates Joe Jorgensen and Jeremy Cohen received 4% of the vote, with just 0.5% going to the Green Party candidates and the Independence Party candidates. There were 2 write-in candidates for president, part of our poll. Well, for New York State's 8th Judicial District, the Supreme Court endorsed Republican, Conservative, and Independents Gerald Greenan III won 69% of the vote, with Democrat and Working Families candidate Amy Martoshi winning 30% of the ballots cast. There was only 1 write-in in that race. Now, for New York's 23rd congressional seat, Congressman Tom Reed, the Republican, Conservative, and Independents candidate, won the district with 69% of the vote, according to the poll. Challenger Tracy Metrano, endorsed by the Democrat and Working Families parties, had 25% of the vote, while Libertarian Andrew Coasty from Jamestown won 5% of that vote. Senator George Borrello, the Republican Conservative Libertarian Independence candidate, easily retained his New York's 57th Senate district seat against Democrat and Working Families candidate Frank Puglisi with 76% of the vote over Puglisi's 23% of the vote, part of our poll. For New York State's 150th Assembly District, incumbent conservative and independence candidate Andy Goodell won 70% of the vote over Democratic challenger Christina Cardinelli, who won 28% of ballots cast. Now, for the Chautauqua County executive race, P.J. Wendell, running on the Republican, Conservative, and Independence line, won 73% of the vote against the Democrat and Working Families candidate Richard Morrisroe, who yielded 26% of the vote in our poll. There were also several write-in candidates for that race. And in the Chautauqua County District's attorney race, Republican and Conservative challenger Jason Schmidt unseated DA Patrick Swanson, who ran on the Democrat, Working Families, and Independence line. Schmidt won 72% of the vote there, while Swanson, according to the poll, would get 27% of the vote. There were 2 write-ins for that race. And the final question on our poll, overall 67% of those who participated say they'll be voting in person on Election Day, with 23% voting early and 9% say they've already voted via absentee ballot. Now, the poll had non-scientific results representing a local share of the popular vote and was open to all viewers of WNY News Now. We'll be taking this data, going over it a little more, and comparing it to results live just 7 days from now on election night. Our live election night coverage starts at 9 o'clock right here on WNY News Now next Tuesday. Well, coming up next, a lot more local news to tell you about. New York State's governor yesterday announced that the state's launching a new campaign to encourage mask wearing. We'll have that. But first, how gas prices are continuing to plummet across the state and nation. This says News Now continues.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
I'm Jason Schmidt. I'm a former felony prosecutor and a criminal defense attorney here in Chautauqua County. I've worked both sides of the system for the past 15 years. I'm the only candidate endorsed by local law enforcement. Police here in Chautauqua County, you know what's going on. Each year here in Chautauqua County, the police make about 1,000 felony arrests. In 2019, only 17.4% of those arrests resulted in felony convictions. I know how to fix their problems, and that's why I'm running for district attorney.
As a former county executive, I know exactly the challenges and opportunities that we have here in Chautauqua County. That's why I'm very proud to support P.J. Wendell for county executive. His knowledge, his experience, and his leadership are exactly what we need at this moment in time. I would ask you all to please support P.J. Wendell for county executive.
Wendell has the experience, he's got the leadership, and he's got the knowledge and ability.
One of the most important characteristics of a successful county executive is being able to surround themselves with the right people for the right situation. And that is exactly what P.J. Wendell has done. Having direct experience in county government is absolutely critical, and no one should start out as county executive with having no experience at all with county government. So P.J. Wendell brings that experience both as a long-term legislator and the former chairman of the legislature. He has my 100% support.
For the past 9 years, I've been a prosecutor right here in Chautauqua County, fighting to keep this community safe. My family lives here with me in Fredonia, and I grew up in Sherman, New York. Fighting to make sure that these communities stay safe is so very important to me. We have the highest caseload of any county in this state, and as your district attorney, I'm dedicated to making sure that each case gets handled the right way for not only the victims, but for the people that live in this county. I'm fully invested in this community, and I'm fully invested in this community's future. Vote Patrick Swanson for Chautauqua County District Attorney.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
And welcome back to WNY News Now. Some good news for those who own vehicles. The national average for a price of gas is going down. The average is $2.16 per gallon right now, and New York's is $2.24, down 1 cent from last week. Now, 1 year ago, those prices were $2.61 and $2.70, respectively. The Energy Information Administration says the demand for gas is dropping. AAA expects prices to continue to drop into the fall as well. Now in Jamestown, the average price for a gallon of gas is $2.32. That compared to $2.59 in nearby Warren, Pennsylvania. Now in northern Chautauqua County, the average price for a gallon of gas is $2.35 in the city of Dunkirk. Well, New York State's governor yesterday announced the state is launching a new campaign to encourage mask wearing. Governor Andrew Cuomo says the state is teaming up with the Real and dozens of fashion designers to create masks for sale, with the proceeds benefiting local charities. Now, the masks will be for sale for 5 weeks on realreal.com. To help keep the Masks Up campaign in the spotlight, Cuomo is asking people to post photos of themselves wearing masks and to tag their photos with the hashtag #MaskUp.
They want to help, and everybody can use their talent to help the way they can best, and realreal.com will sell them. Profits will go to COVID relief organizations. Public school, she's a very cool designer, is going to release their New York Tough mask. It's going to be released today? Yes. Today. So thank them very much.
And when it comes to the daily coronavirus numbers across the state, the statewide positive infection rate is 1.45% overall. Well, wear a mask, it's something that we've all been hearing for quite a while, but a new study is putting a number to the lives that could be saved, according to experts, if most Americans would simply do the measure and wear the mask. Mandy Gaither explains a little bit more.
We have clear scientific evidence they work, and they are our best defense.
It's one of the best ways to stop the spread of COVID-19.
Wear a mask.
But a new modeling study in the journal Nature Medicine estimates that if most Americans wore masks in public, more than 100,000 lives could be saved from COVID-19 between now and February. But researchers noted that as of late September, less than half of U.S. residents reported that they always wear a mask in public. If that trend remains through February and states continue with removing social distancing mandates, the study suggests the COVID-19 death toll across the U.S. could reach about 1 million deaths by the end of February. In another scenario, researchers say if states shut down when their daily death rate exceeds 8 deaths per 1 million people and mask wearing doesn't change, the forecasted death toll could reach more than 511,000 by the end of February. But if most Americans wear masks and states reimpose social distancing mandates, if death rates sharply rise, the death toll projection would be at its lowest. For today's Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Mandy, thank you. Researchers analyzed data on COVID cases and deaths in the U.S. from the beginning of February through the 3rd week of September. They used those numbers along with other factors to help determine the projections for the pandemic through February. The study had some limitations, including that the findings are only forecast projections from models and not definitive of what the future could hold. Well, for the first time ever, NASA is confirming there is water below the surface of the moon that's been exposed now to the sun. The agency announced the discovery yesterday, saying it was made using its SOFIA telescope. It observed the moon in mid-flight from a modified Boeing 747 jet, but the amount of the water is just a fraction of what you would find in the Sahara Desert. In a separate study, NASA said that there could be more water than previously believed in tiny lunar ice patches that are permanently projected from the sun. That discovery was made using NASA's Lunar Orbiter, which circles the moon. Scientists say that the water could be a crucial resource in future moon missions, including NASA's Air Terms program, which is currently set to return Americans to the moon by 2024. The two discoveries were first published in the journal Nature Astronomy. Pretty cool. Certainly a lot of people, still even to this day in 2020, fascinated with the moon, where if you think about it, not too long ago, we were first touching down there. Hopefully everyone is having a good day. We thank you so much for joining us here for WNY News Now. Let us know what you think about these stories and more in the comments below. Good to see Tony, good to see Charlie, Lisa, Darnett, Karen, and Seth. Hopefully you all are having a great day. Well, let's switch gears now and get a check of our First Defense weather forecast. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter joins us live now in the First Defense Weather Center. Dakota, it certainly may have water on the moon, but we got a lot of water around here too.
Yes, it's almost like waterlogged around here, but hey, it's all rain that we need. Let's go straight to the satellite and radar picture. And as I showed you during the first weather segment, that ice storm out in the Midwest, out in Oklahoma and Kansas, this is a major winter storm out there for them. This is actually going to move its way towards our region, and this is going to collide with the remnants of Zeta, which is going to ride up the East Coast, and this is going to become the focal point for likely some snowflakes come Friday. So the weather headlines, we dry out come tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to be a nice dry day, partial sunshine in between. Thursday is going to be a washout with the remnants of Zeta passing close by. We're likely going to see some moderate to heavy downpours likely on Thursday, something we're keeping an eye on. But as the colder air filters in, we're going to start to see some snow changing over, likely Thursday night going into early Friday. We'll time it out in just a minute here. And Halloween still looks good at this point if your town is still doing trick-or-treating this year. 43 is our current temperature as a noon hour with a southwest wind of 8, and we have a wind chill index of 38 when you combine that air temperature and the wind speed together. So let's take you through a future scan here. You'll see the model shows mainly clear this afternoon, but notice what comes in again. Another band of rain showers come in basically later this afternoon and this evening. And again, it's going to be light rain. It's not going to be anything heavy. It's almost going to be the same thing as yesterday, just some light rain, some patches of drizzle at times. That starts to taper off tonight, and then tomorrow, minus the chance for a morning shower tomorrow. The afternoon is going to be dry with partial sunshine in between, so the sun and clouds are going to be battling once again tomorrow. Speaking of Zeta, newest information, it was a Category 1 hurricane, but it weakened back down to a tropical storm as it made interaction with Mexico. It is now in the Gulf of Mexico, 65-mile-per-hour winds with a pressure of 985 millibars. This is the current forecast track. This is going to come into maybe Mississippi as maybe a Category 1 high-end tropical storm. This is the current forecast track from the National Hurricane Center. Works up into Alabama, Georgia, and then it ultimately works up into the Northeast and then curves its way back out to sea. But its close proximity to us and a trough coming in from the west, bringing in colder air from Canada, is going to be the vocal point for Thursday night and Friday. So this is what we know about the snowfall Thursday and Friday. Notice the remnants of Zeta working its way up the Northeast. So that's the first part. The second part is cold air coming in from the north and west. We're going to see a changeover to snow likely Thursday night and Friday morning. The big idea here, and we put it in capital letters, bold, made it bigger, underlined it, accumulations unknown at this point because we don't exactly know if the snow is actually going to change over at this point. There's still a little bit of uncertainty with this, and any accumulations would likely be on the higher terrain, but how much accumulation we could see is unknown. So again, I've talked about it before, it is very irresponsible to throw out snowfall totals this early in the game, but we will give you snowfall totals likely tomorrow, at least our preliminary estimates on what we think, if it will stick, but at this point, we're not entirely sure yet. So Halloween, if you are still doing trick-or-treating this year, 44 degrees by the time trick-or-treating time comes around. This is by about 6, 7 o'clock, mainly clear with the south wind averaging 5 to 10 miles per hour, so it is going to be great for any of the trick-or-treaters, but you know, mask, social distancing, and all of that, you know how to stay safe now. The next 7 days of your life are brought to you by 42 degrees and sunny right there on the screen. 51 tomorrow, partial sunshine, moderate to heavy rain Thursday as the remnants of Zeta start to work up the Northeast. Only 39 on Friday. Yikes. Morning snow showers will likely turn to rain in the afternoon. Halloween, great, 50. Turn back the clocks 1 hour Saturday night as we go back to standard time. And then Monday looking great with temperatures in the lower 50s. We'll take a break. Be back.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
First Defense Weather is sponsored by 42 Degrees and Sunny, smokin' deals on smoking accessories. Learn more at 42degreesandsunny.com. That's 42degreesandsunny.com.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvanna Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
I'm Jason Schmidt. I'm a former felony prosecutor and a criminal defense attorney here in Chautauqua County. Each year here in Chautauqua County, the police make about 1,000 felony arrests. In 2019, only 17.4% of those arrests resulted in felony convictions. It means that in less than 2 out of 10 serious crimes, the victims of those cases receive justice. 17.4% is not a number that's acceptable for me and my family. It certainly isn't good enough for yours.
Hi, I'm George Borrello, and I'm proud to serve as your senator for New York's 57th Senate District. In fact, in my first year, I've passed many pieces of legislation, as well as helping people and businesses in these challenging times. From fighting for a safe, common-sense reopening of our state's economy during the COVID-19 pandemic, to continuing the push for the repeal of the state's flawed criminal justice changes, which have made us all less safe, I am working hard for you every day as your state senator. Your vote will help me continue my mission to boost New York's economy, struggling from the COVID shutdown, and for small businesses not just to survive, but thrive. I will also continue to hold the government accountable by reviewing policies that led to the tragic nursing home deaths statewide. I'm proud to represent our beautifully diverse region, and I will be honored to have your vote on Tuesday, November 3rd, so that I can continue my work fighting for you. It's not about rhetoric, it's about results.
Paid for by Borrello for Senate.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Well, everyone loves the underdog, but what about the undercat? Today is a day to celebrate one of the most overlooked felines, part of National Black Cat Day. These dark creatures of the night captivate our imaginations around Halloween time for sure, but they're really not that creepy. They're just an old superstition. Black cats are just as loving and affectionate as any other kitty. Well, unless they're not. Their unlucky reputation helps keep them among the least adopted cats at shelters, though. So buck that trend and show some love. You can dance together to Janet Jackson's Black Cat, but your pet might get scared off if you set off fireworks part of the dance. Of course, we remind you, if you're looking to adopt a furry friend, chqhumane.org is the place for you. Well, we hope everyone's having a great Tuesday. We thank you so much for joining us here for WNY News Now. Let us know what you think about that and more in the comments down below. Dakota, I can attest my grandparents had a black cat fittingly named Blackie for a number of years. He passed away this year, actually, and of a very good old age. Blackie had a great life. And he was one of those critters of the night. You know, he was an indoor type of cat. And I'm sure in his time, he probably crossed a couple of people's paths and they turned around and went the other way.
Well, you see, I don't know about the whole black cats are nice thing, because if you have watched the Talking Kitty Cat series on YouTube, rest in peace, Steve Cash, you know that Sylvester, Sylvester was a mean SOB. He didn't like the dog. He didn't like the other cats. He was just plain out mean.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that's with any animal. Dogs sometimes are jerks. Cats sometimes are jerks. My favorite cat, unfortunately we can't have pets at the apartment that I live at, but her name's Mittens. I call her Mitty for short. And she's got
You live in an apartment?
She's got a, yeah, I live in an apartment.
I thought you owned your own house. Don't you make the big bucks?
I don't make, I wish. But she lives in, she lives with my mom. And boy, she's got the tude sometimes. That's for sure. But loving nevertheless. So, speaking of the tude, the forecast has a little bit of attitude tonight. I can't wait for all of this rain to stop, but I know unfortunately it's a sign of the time.
Well, it's either rain or snow. Take your pick, Jay. Early rain showers tonight. They're going to taper off later tonight in some drizzle, 36 to 41. Enjoy this because you know what's likely going to be coming Thursday night and Friday, likely to change over to some snow showers by the morning. We'll tell you more about it tomorrow.
Of course. Dakota, thank you. That's going to do it for us today. We'll leave you with this live look over downtown Jamestown. We're back tomorrow. Hope to see you then.